But we're not quite done adding content here. So let's now look at images. Now if you look over in the right here, so far we've only been working with the content block widget. There's also an image widget that I can drag and drop onto the page. Once again, Sitefinity is instructing me to select an image, and here I have some options. Now if I have a brand new image on my computer that I wanted to upload, I can use this select button to locate this image, hit open, and then Sitefinity is asking me which album I want to put this image into. You could create a brand new album, and this is just to help you organize where these images are. But I can stay with the homepage album, and I can also enter a little alternative text right here in this field. This is very useful for people who might be visually impaired who can't actually see the photo. It provides a little descriptive text so that they know what the image is about. It also gives Google and other search engines a little bit more to see on your website because automated bots also can't interpret what the image actually is, so you're providing text that they can more easily understand. Now I also have some resizing options that I can use just under here. And in this example, if I just want to make a very small thumbnail, I could select that option, or I could choose don't resize and then hit save. And what will happen is Sitefinity will automatically upload that image. I didn't need to worry about doing that, and then obviously create a link and insert it into my page. And once these widgets are in place, it's very easy for me to move them somewhere else in the page. I just have to mouse over the widget, the little title bar there, the mouse cursor turns into a cross. I can just click, hold down my mouse button, and then drag it somewhere else in the page, just wherever I want it to be placed, and then just let up the mouse button and you see it gets moved there. And then if I decide I don't want this widget here, there's a little more menu that I can click. This will come down. I could duplicate it, I could set permissions, or I can delete and it goes away. Now that's one way to insert images. Something you might have seen on the internet is where you have images that content wraps around. Like we have an image sitting right here, but all this content would wrap around it. If you wanted to do something like that for your page, you're not going to use the image widget. Instead, you're going to use the content block widget. I'll click edit, and you'll see there's an image option here at the top in our tools. So I just need to put my mouse cursor at the start of the paragraph where I want this to be done and click image. And now instead of uploading a brand new image, I could select from an image I've already uploaded and then just scroll down, insert the image, and you can see it's not wrapping around as we would like, but I can just mouse over this image, right click, and then go to properties. And there's a lot of different options here, but one of them is image alignment. And then I can use a few different icons. This is center, this is top, bottom, left. I would just want to do right justified and then hit OK. And look what happens. So all this content is now wrapping around. I can hit save and it does as we would expect. So we've now looked at creating content, editing content, creating links, and creating images as well. But that still only is just the tip of the iceberg of what you can really do with Sitefinity. You can see there's so many more widgets available over here on the right. In addition to the widgets that come with Sitefinity, it's very possible that your developers will have created additional widgets that are very specific to your organization. And just as I've been doing with the content widget or the images widget, it's very easy to just select some of these additional widgets, drag them to wherever you want them to be in the page, click edit to customize the properties associated with these widgets, and then create powerful advanced new content for your website. And then when we're finally done and we want to make this web page live, we just mouse up here and click the publish button. And as I mentioned earlier, if we then move over to the real website and just simply click refresh, we get a brand new link dynamically in our navigation, and the web page is now live. And you might also notice over here on the right, I now have this little tools icon. This is only available if you are logged in as a content administrator in Sitefinity. It allows you to touch up and modify the content as you're actually browsing the live website. So here I am on a live page on the live website. If I just wanted to touch up something in this content, I could just click tools, say show editing tools. You see I get a few little icons throughout my page that I can use to just quickly touch up text, and then when I'm done, just hide the editing tools and go right back to where I was. Now I want to show you one more useful feature, and to do this I'm going to go back to the services page, scroll down a bit here, And then I'm actually going to remove this content that I was playing with earlier. So just click more and delete, and then more and delete. And then what I'm going to do is move my mouse over here, and instead of clicking content, click layout. So in the past, you might have been modifying a web page and thought, I'd really just like to have 2 columns available here instead of just 1 column. And if you don't have a lot of HTML or programming experience, this can be a real hassle to accomplish. Now with Sitefinity, we wanted to make this possible for people who really did not have HTML experience to just do those little layout tweaks that they might want to do. So in this case, if I want to add 2 columns, if I want to make this 1 column into 2 columns, I just find a 2-column layout over here, and just like I've been doing with the widgets, click, hold down my mouse button, drag this over into where I want it to be, and then drop it. And now I've got these 2 editable regions. I can click edit, and there's some little things you could do. I could drag and drop these columns to position them how I might want, whether I want them evenly divided. I can also move over here into spacing and tell Sitefinity how much spacing I want between each column. If I don't want all that spacing between them, I could do things like just hit a 0 here, and then you can see that gets reduced there. And when I'm done modifying all this, I can just hit done. And then when I click back over to content mode, well, now I have new editable regions that I can modify, and then I could begin placing new widgets into this. So I can drag and drop a news widget over here into this column. I don't have a lot of room, so this isn't going to look great, but this is just an example. And then I can drag and drop a blog post widget, and you can see I have these 2 columns sitting side by side. I didn't need to do anything with HTML to make this possible. Instead, I could accomplish it just by dragging and dropping layouts, dragging and dropping widgets. So one question you might have as I've been modifying all this content on this web page is, how do I modify some of these other elements on the page? How do I modify this text? How is that done? Or how do I modify this image? Because you can see as I'm mousing over, I'm not being given any options whatsoever for doing anything with this content. Now the reason for that is because this content, as I mentioned earlier, is being inherited from templates. And if we wanted to modify any of it, we would have to go modify it on the template. Now to do that, and I'll just go ahead and proceed with this page and hit publish, I need to move over to a different section in Sitefinity. So I'll go over here to design and then click page templates. And now we need to modify the template where that element exists. So this might be a little confusing because of the way I have this set up, because we selected the 2-column template when I originally created that page. But if you see, it's based on the base template, which is right here. So those elements that I need to modify are actually on the base template, and then they get inherited onto the page. So I'm going to click base template, and now I have all those edit options on these elements that exist on the template. Now depending on your site setup, you may or may not have permissions to do anything with this template. The advantages of templates is that I can modify this image for the entire website, in fact, by just editing it in one place, and all the pages that use that template automatically get those edits. The disadvantage is that if I make a mistake, I remove an image entirely, that mistake will be spread across the entire website. So this may be something that you want to leave in the hands of the developers and designers that establish these templates. If you do have permissions to do that, just be careful with your modifications. And although I'm telling you to be careful doing these edits, Sitefinity is doing some things to help protect you. If you go over to more actions while editing this page, you'll see you have a revision history option here that I can click. And every single edit that is done to this page, Sitefinity is keeping track of these. I can click any one of these edits to get a preview of what it looked like then. And if I ever want to roll back to a particular version, I just need to click this and then tell it revert to this version. And this is true not only for templates, but also pages. If we click actions here, you'll see that same option. Sitefinity is keeping track of every revision history for all pages, all content items, all templates. It makes it possible for you to roll back from mistakes.